Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the live show with Musart. Today I have a very special guest. Her name is Kehinde Olarinmoye, who is a transitional coach. She's going to share her journey of what brought her here. Hi, Kehinde.
Hi, Musart. How are you doing?
I am absolutely wonderful. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Especially as you pronounce my name. Spot on.
Oh, thank you so much. I was so worried I was going to get it wrong.
I was so worried
I thought
too.
I thought us Asians were bad when other people could not pronounce our names, but actually we need to learn some trick of the trade too. What language is it that your background?
It's Yoruba, so
Okay.
West Africa, Nigeria.
Because I can do Yoruba accent, but I don't know
No.
the pronunciation.
Yoruba via Hackney.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Right, so tell me, what brought you to being a transitional coach?
Well, I would say that there's quite a few paths that I've sort of gone down. So if we take it back, I try not to take it too far, but I'll take it back as, when I was a child, I was very athletic. I had this dream, this desire to be a stunt woman.
Okay.
Yeah. One of my favourite toys was a toy that my brother had. It was like Evil Knievel. I don't know if you probably remember.
Remember.
Yeah. So you had to wind it up on this.
Yeah.
Yeah. And zoo. So I just felt I could be a stunt woman, and I used to do gymnastics. And one day my brother, my mum said to my brother, "You take your sister to gymnastics," and he decided that we were going to split up and go different routes. He would take the main road, and I would go through these flats, and they had this little park, and I was like, "Yay, okay, who gets there first?" So there I am, running along. I was about 8 or 9, I'd say, and there was a little sort of patch of grass, but on a hill, and then there was one slide, and there was another slide, and I sort of ran down that hill, about to sort of carry on, and then I suddenly stopped in my tracks like a devious little child. I was like, hold on a minute, there's a slide, and I'm a stunt girl.
I need to be flying.
Yeah, let's see how this is going to work out. It had been raining, so
it was quite slippery.
The slide was still wet. I ran back up to the top of the hill. I stood at the top, fearless, absolutely fearless. Didn't even think about the consequences. I stood there and I slid down, and all I could remember was that my legs were just like cycling in the air. And there's a saying.
Where did you land?
Well, no, the saying is, what goes up must come down.
Okay.
I didn't know too much about science then, the gravity pulled me straight down and fudged straight on the floor.
Oh gosh.
I was kind of out cold for a few seconds. I remember a lady shouting out, "She's dead, she's dead."
Oh wow.
And I was like, "Oh, I'm in heaven."
So you're in heaven?
Yeah. My brother was waiting at the other end of the road thinking, where is she? Where is she? And then he sort of traced my steps.
Was it on a concrete floor?
Yeah.
Wow.
I was quite bouncy as a child.
Yeah, oh wow.
I was quite bouncy. And so he came back, saw me on the floor, and he was like, "Don't move." And I thought, is he being funny?
Yeah.
Because I'm not moving anywhere. Yeah. And then he went and got my mum. My mum came and she said, "Oh, can you get up and walk?" I was like, "Yeah." So we walked to the local hospital, checked me out. There was no broken bones.
Oh wow.
Nothing. I got let out.
So you're a hero in disguise. You're a stunt woman. Yeah.
Yeah, I had my sort of like K as opposed to S. I had K on my chest. Yeah. This would carry on for a few years, being a bit of an accident prone, just fearless, accident prone.
Was it for the adrenaline rush, would you say?
I don't know. I just didn't want my feet on the ground for some reason, So my mum thought if she put me on a pretty dress with nice shoes, I won't. She said, "Do not scratch your shoes. They're brand new." I said, "Okay."
And you would scratch them?
Well, no. I would just find a way to climb up a pole on the wall.
Oh wow!
High rise, and our flats. We lived in these masonettes, and there was 2 floors, and I didn't take the stairs. Don't ask me why, but I thought, oh, I can climb this pole. And so it was kind of nearing dinner time, so my mum stepped out of our place.
Looking for you, and you're hanging from a pole.
Kehinde, Kehinde. And I'd already passed, I was on the next floor, and I was thinking, don't look up.
Yeah.
And then suddenly she went, down now. Anyway, so yeah.
And then you slid down like...
No, I said, I'm nearly there, so can I just carry on?
Oh my goodness.
So I carried on, climbed her, then came down the stairs and...
Did you get in trouble?
Yeah, I got in trouble, words more than anything. They were more painful, than getting the slipper. So I think it was evident that I was very energetic. So I would
still are. When I first met Kehinde, trust me, I was like mesmerized with your energy. I was like, This one was just amazing. I love your energy.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you still are energetic, I would
Although
say.
I've changed in the sense that I'm not as, when it comes to climbing a wall, I'm fearful.
You take the stairs now.
I think about,
She takes the stairs now.
yeah, I think
Okay.
about how many bones I can break. Oh, even like a little wall like that, I'm
Yeah.
like, ooh, better be careful.
Oh,
Just slip my ankle. I was like, who are you? But yeah, so it was
Yeah.
evident I had all this energy. So I put that into all the sports possible. So, you know, I mentioned gymnastics, I did tennis, I did athletics, I did football, basketball. You know, my sister as well. She was like, it was handy because I've got a twin sister. My first name actually means I'm a twin, and so we did everything together. So it's like growing up with a partner, growing up with a best friend, you know. So we were the original Williams sisters before they even existed, because we played tennis, so we competed in county.
Oh, wow.
We had a few trophies, but we didn't take it to Wimbledon.
So was your sister just like you as well, with this energy, and or was she? Is she complete opposite?
She's complete opposite. She still thinks I'm mad. She says you're crazy.
So she's very like calm and selective.
Yeah, she's my calm.
Oh.
Yeah, she's like, you know, I'm that the balloon trying to escape, and she's like the weight holding me back. Not holding me back, but you know, keep me grounded.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of thing. So yeah, so I went through my journey doing sports, and I actually thought I was going to be a sports person, you know, like athletic, and I did volleyball as well, and I joined a junior volleyball team local to us, and I was invited to join the team and become semi-professional. And this is where the first disappointment came because I developed a Ganga gland, which is like a fluid, build up of fluid, and it was under a vital vein. So I kept, you know, sort of like, you know, the training, you sort of bang, 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 and this gland appeared. Went to the doctor. Doctor said we could do one of two things. We can sort of wait to see if it goes down, or we can hit it with a Bible. I said to the doctor, why hit it with a Bible? Because it's heavy. I was like,
okay, not an encyclopedia, but a Bible.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll just say I'll take the option of waiting to see if it goes down. So it eventually went down, but months had gone by, so I missed a lot of training, and it was hard for me to keep up. So then that career was over. My next career, I thought, was going to be a policewoman.
Okay, I think you'd be a very good policewoman with the climbing the poles and the walls and stuff like that. I think you'd make a fantastic one.
No, I think it was because of my vigilance. What happened was my brother had one of these model cars that everyone who's a burglar would want to take parts of, and I was left home alone one day because I had an injury, and so I said to them, you know, don't cancel the trip, just do what you're doing. I'll just sleep it off. And I had the window open slightly, and I heard a car pull up, so I thought maybe it might be them. But then I realised it was an identical car to my brother's, and they stopped, and I was looking around, and I was like, I soon realised they were trying to steal some parts. So no one was home. I was nervous, and I was like, what am I going to do? So I sort of coughed to sort of disrupt, and they realised they were being watched, so they sped off. But I called the police at that time, and then the police turned up, and they said, could you give me a description? And I said, yeah, one had da-da-da-da-da-da, and they came back to my house and went, you gave us like succinct description of three of the characters, and we managed to arrest them.
Oh, wow.
And so they said, have you thought about being a police officer? And I was like, and then my mum turned and goes, no, she's not going to be a police officer.
No, she's Batwoman. She climbs up walls. She's Spider-Woman, actually. That's the one.
So that career was ended. So I was just like, oh. Anyway, now I'm in college, and I've got a keen interest in psychology, but I didn't want to pursue a career in psychology. But at school I was also very good at music, and so I never at that point thought I wanted to be a musician or I could pursue a career in music. But during the summer holidays, when I made that decision of not wanting to go to university at that point because I didn't know what I wanted to do, I didn't want to just go to university because everyone's going to university and then have a qualification that I wasn't going to use. My mum said, well, you're going to have to find something to do because you're not sitting around doing nothing. So she gave me the Evening Standard. I was flicking through the paper, and then I saw this ad. I mean, literally stood out at me. It said, learn how to type and get paid for it within a week. And I was like, this is, hoax. But I, being a curious child, I called them up and I applied and I got onto the program. And I soon found that actually, I learned how to type within a week. And then you just have to build up the speed. And it's something that the school stopped doing, but I found it was a very important vocation. With all the qualifications that you acquire, if you can type and drive, these are probably the most important skills to have. If you can drive and if you can type, you can always be employed. You know, even if you start as a receptionist or even if you drive, you know, delivery or whatever, there's opportunities. It might not be like the career, but you can definitely do something. So anyway, I learned how to type, and then it was an MVQ program, and you had to go for work experience. And so I was like, oh, music. So I picked music, ended up in a record company, in the press department, and found myself cutting out clippings of the artists that they represented to put it on paper to file. I found it incredibly boring, but it was an opportunity. It opened my eyes up and my world up to, you know, like a world that I didn't even know existed. Had a crash course in learning about different genres of music like hip hop and soul and all that kind of stuff. And then I went back to do another level, and then I got placed in a publishing arm. And again, a whole new world. I had no idea that the artists that we see are not necessarily the people that write the songs. So, you know, songwriters are very, very valuable. And that basically started my career in the music and entertainment business, because I ended up working for that company for like 15 years. And I, you know, met so many incredible people, not necessarily famous. I did meet famous people, ones that you will know, but I'm not going to mention because it's not about name dropping.
Yeah.
I'm not here to boast.
Exactly.
But yeah, so it really opened me up, and I soon realised that this was the path I was meant to be on. And that also was the beginning of my mentoring and coaching. I found that a lot of certainly the younger and maybe the less experienced writers, I was coaching in terms of getting them to really focus on where they see themselves in their career going down the line, because it's not a question of just, okay, I've signed a deal, what next? It's like, let's have a plan, let's see where we can take you to the next level and that kind of thing. And for me, it felt natural, and I enjoyed it. So I was there for 15 years, and it got to a point where I felt like I was stagnant and I needed something different. And
so a bit more inspirational or something.
Yeah, I just felt like I was maybe using just a fraction of my brain, you know, doing it. It became monotonous. And as much as I appreciate the opportunity I had, and also the platform that I you know, that was basically formed from working there, I realised that I needed to not just use one arm, I needed to use the other arm. So it just felt like I was just doing that, and I needed to be able to go like that. So I put it out there that I need a change. I didn't realise it was going to come so quickly. And, you know, we were talking earlier about laws of attraction and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, you have to be careful what you wish for, because
sometimes you get it.
The universe, no, not sometimes, always. You don't realise what you're putting out there. And it could be, he's like, oh, I didn't ask for that. But actually, when you think about what you've been actually thinking, you have focused on it. And so it does come to you. So, so my wish was granted. I was made redundant. And you know, it was a massive change, in the sense that it was like being married. So when you're in your company, when you work for a company, you're known. But I could just say my name from the company I work for, and so, you know, you get your calls taken, returned, and, you know, people call you. You know, you're suddenly the most popular person in the industry, because you are in a position of power, and you can change people's careers ultimately, or lives. But when I left, that was the test to see actually how people really, really viewed you. And there were some really shocking results, in a sense, that that people that you regarded as your friends, or you felt like had your back.
That's what they say. When you're at the rock bottom, that is when you know who is with you and who isn't with you. Because everybody's going to be when you're at your highest.
Absolutely. And they want to celebrate with you. They want to drink your champagne. You know?
But when you're at your worst, there's very few people who want to help you pick you up.
Absolutely. And the people that have come forward have been like solid for me, for the last 8 years, should we say. And a couple of them are business partners as well. So it's been really, really good. And also the responsibility of maintaining all those friendships is hard, you know, or acquaintances, if we say. So it's a blessing in disguise. You know, at the time when you're in it, you don't realise the blessing. So I think every experience that you go through, whether good or bad. There's always a lesson. And so in that lesson for me was you needed to offload, shed a lot of the people that claim to be your biggest supporters.
Exactly.
They're your big supporters until you are no longer useful to them.
Yeah.
So having to juggle so many people, and I compare this to when I turned 30, I was the most popular person, and they all wanted to come to my birthday party. Even people gate crashed.
Yeah.
I was sharing this with someone recently. There was someone who gate crashed. There was one girl. I went to the bathroom, and I said, "Oh," because I didn't know her. I said, "Oh, what are you doing here?" She goes, "Oh, I don't know, it's someone's birthday." And we gate crashed. I went, "Really? It's my birthday."
Oh no!
The exit is that way.
Oh gosh!
I was like, "Oh really?" I said, "Yeah, bye." But then when I turned 40, and I'm not in working for the corporate company and having as many, it's a different kettle of fish.
Yes.
And also you don't want that energy around you.
Yes.
It was a lot quieter. I wanted it to be more intimate, and the people that were present, the ones I wanted to share my time with.
Yes.
So
it's better to have few friends than many friends.
Yeah, if you can go through
few good friends.
your life with 5 friends, you're doing well.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what they say. So how many friends have I got? Yeah, I'm doing all right. I think it's kind of spilled over to 6.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's brought me to, where are we? 2008 and 2000. So I took like some time off.
So like you said, when you went through that transition of offloading with all those bad people, well, not bad people, but you'd say negative people is the best word to put it. Or people who are not of your use.
Lack of integrity,
yeah, that's the word.
Yeah.
Or empathy even.
Yeah.
So was it heartbreaking, or was it like hurtful? Because sometimes when you have high expectations of people,
there was an element of disappointment. I won't deny that. There was that whole thing of wow, and to think how much I've helped you. It's not a question of I helped you, you helped me. It's more like I thought we had that kind of
understanding.
Yeah, and so the lesson was there.
That's the thing that Kehinde, I've lived my life to learn now that, and I may not be as wise as you yet, but the thing
are you making reference to my age?
No.
I mean, no. Seriously?
No, but obviously because everybody's got their own level of experiences.
Absolutely, yeah.
So what I'm trying to say is, I've learned there's always something, like there's always going to be someone who wants something of you.
Yeah.
And there's very few that will let you have some of them back.
Of course.
And it's a tough lesson to learn, but it's a very valuable lesson to learn.
It's a bit of a tug of war, isn't it?
Yes, but the thing at the end of the day, it's depending how you perceive it, how you take it. So I just look at it as a learning curve and say, you know what? I think that person I do not need to give that person as much as importance anymore. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Because if it's always about them, it's not a relationship, is it?
You kind of put certain people in boxes. Yes. Yeah. You say, okay,
But you learn from them.
Yeah,
I look at them as books, to be honest.
Absolutely.
I look at people as
books. I've learned that lesson from you. Yeah. So I'll put you in that box.
It's not a bad thing at the end of the day. It's like I'm happy to have had you, and I don't regret it. I'm like,
it's a journey.
It's a journey, and I've learned from it. And I was like, you know what? I'm actually very happy, even though how negative that person is, and no matter how much you've done for them, and they've turned around and spat on your face or whatever. I'm still around saying, you know what? It's fine.
Yeah.
I've learned my lesson.
Agreed.
And it depends on how you take it. A lot of people take that as a negative thing, and then they get very down. Or this person hurt me. I can't live my life anymore. But no, you shouldn't. No. Your happiness and your inner peace shouldn't be dependent on anybody.
No, exactly, because that's when you lose control.
Exactly.
You have to be able to literally know what makes you tick.
Exactly.
You cannot. It's even in your personal relationships. You cannot allow someone to have the power to decide when you're happy.
Yes.
It's important that you make yourself happy, and anybody else coming into your life is a bonus.
Yeah.
So if they were to leave, it's not going to disrupt the flow.
Yes.
It's like, okay, you know what?
Yeah.
Our journey now has come to an end.
There's people who I've left and that I've had to leave, say that were negative. Yeah. They tried to come back in. I've not let them in now because I've noticed my life has got so much better without them. Because I was just watching a very interesting video the other day. If you want to be lucky, if you want to stay lucky, take all the negative people out of your life. Yeah. Because they're just bringing you down. They're just taking your luck away. It's it's draining you, actually, at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's funny you're saying that because, there are people out there who are literally energy drainers. You can call them vampires, basically, because they feel or see that light that you hold, and they want that. So it's like, moth to a flame sort of thing. So they literally just try and suck the energy out of you. But you have to recognise that that's their journey, that's their power.
You can try as much as you can to change them into a positive... give them positive perspective, but only few would take on board of that advice. there's very few, and it's like there's no point like saying, is it worth my energy? Is it worth my time?
Yeah.
You should value your own time.
Yeah.
So like I said to you, so you went through that transition.
Yeah.
But then there's something that brought you to where you are today. So like you was working for different companies, and then
yes, I
you're building up your rapport
and
and
going,
realizing.
yeah, exactly, going solo, or like not having a big company behind you.
Yes.
And I made reference to a marriage because it's like you're divorcing yourself from that situation,
Yes.
and then suddenly you now have to start again as you got to find your identity again, because in any relationship, a piece of you disappears. You become more into the person that you're connected with. So I had to find me again, and I been on an interesting journey. Even towards the end of working for the company, I found myself traveling less. When I was working for I found myself traveling a lot. Like, I'd go away for a month or so because I needed to regroup and feel like feel the essence of me again. And on that one of those journeys, I was on my way to. I was in Australia and on my way to New Zealand. Something happened where the connecting flight to go back to Australia to catch. I was in a particular part of Australia called Wagga Wagga, and I need to get back to Sydney to catch my connecting flight to New Zealand. And my friend who booked my flight back from Wagga to Sydney, and it was confirmed it was the flight didn't exist. It literally was like, it's not there, and I'm like, well, my friend booked it. So anyway, in the end, when you feel like it's not flowing the way it's meant to flow, so you don't push it. So I'm like, maybe I'm not supposed to fly today.
Yes.
So we booked the flight.
Just relax, take a step back.
Yeah. So I booked the flight for the following morning, and then basically got back and sort of unpacked my case, repacked it to go to New Zealand, and I was like, okay, I've got plenty of time to catch my flight. I'm going to take like a local bus, instead of taking a taxi or something. What I noticed was the traffic was going one way but not coming the other way. It was really bizarre, and I was thinking the bus needs to come soon. And this is me.
Irritable.
Yeah, I was at the bus stop on my own, and I literally said to myself, if the bus doesn't come soon, I'm going to have to get a taxi. And the taxis that were flowing on the other side were like the New York taxis, the yellow cabs. But this limousine from the other side of the road, as soon as I uttered the word taxi in my head, did a U-turn and parked right in front of me and said, "Did you ask for a taxi?"
Oh.
Yeah. I was like,
yeah, but not limo.
I said, "You're a taxi." He said, "I'm a taxi. Do you want a taxi?" And I was like,
oh, okay.
I said, if it's my time, I'm going in a limo, so it's okay. So I jumped in.
Yeah.
And the guy was looking at me in his rear view mirror, and I was like, okay, he's a bit strange. I'm going to pretend I'm on the phone. So I just was on my phone, and he had the radio, and then there's a picture of this woman on the dashboard. It was an Asian woman. She had a red bindi, but he wasn't Asian, so I was kind of, so I was sort of joking, "Is that your wife?" And he said, "No. Do you not know who she is?" I was like, "No, I've just met you," kind of thing. Anyway, carried on doing a thing, and they just announced that the assassination of the Prime Minister of India. It was that time, and I had this really weird feeling that something was going to happen to her. I don't know why, but anyway, she was assassinated, and I was shocked. And he said, "So you know?" And I'm like, "Know what?" And I said, "This was an inside job, and there's a few people that come into our lives that make an impact." Yeah. And he made reference to Princess Diana, and I can't remember, a couple other people. And then we got talking, and I said, "Well, who is that woman?" And he started to explain. He said, "She's the reason why you and I are talking." I said, "What do you mean?" And he said, "Well, you were told you're meant to meditate, and you've been ignoring it." And I'm like, okay. So he was like a messenger. Okay. So then he told me about this type of meditation. So then I got into it, and then.
Which meditation is that? That's the Dr. Dwayne one with the R?
No, it's called Sahaja Yoga.
Okay.
And it's basically Kundalini. It's just raising your Kundalini. And so I got into that, and I've been doing that ever since. So that was back in 2006. So over 10 years. And I find meditation very, very helpful. It centers me. It helps me to connect to my higher self. And, so when I'm trying to lift myself up and understand, my journey and that kind of thing, that's what keeps me centered. And so that's where the whole transition of where I was to sort of like where I started to become, and working for this company, I knew that I was never going to meet anyone or have a family because the job was very demanding. But I said to myself, as soon as I leave this company, my life will begin. And so I left in 2008, and then 2010 I met my partner, and then we, you know, and then 2 years later we had a child. And for me that was like the most amazing thing ever.
Yeah.
And it was like I finally arrived. I felt like this is it, everything,
You've got a family.
Yeah, everyone thought I was very career minded. Yeah, don't get me wrong, I am career minded, but that wasn't the most important thing for me. I felt success was me becoming a mother.
Yeah.
So I'm enjoying being a mother. 2 months in, we're given some devastating news that would ultimately shift, my life in a sense. And basically, he was diagnosed with a particular condition that meant that he had epilepsy and he had global developmental delay. So it was a very
heartbreaking.
Yeah, very short-lived in that sort of excitement of being a new
So he was
mum.
normal up until 2 months?
Yeah, I mean, as normal as we want to call normal,
baby,
there was, my pregnancy was absolutely fine. The test came back fine. There was no, I was like, I had other mothers saying, "You're so lucky you weren't sick." You went, "No, I was jumping around like I was, you know, not pregnant, but yeah, you could see I was pregnant." But so even I had a natural birth. It was, no issues there. And yeah, so 2 months in, he was diagnosed with a condition that literally was a massive shift, a huge devastation for the whole family and that kind of thing. And not because, some people say, "Oh, we want him to be perfect." It's not about that. It was more like, what is his life going to be? How is he going to suffer? No one wants their child to suffer, whether they have a condition or not. You just want them to have a good life, and you want to make sure that you provide for your child as much as possible.
Yes.
So, seeing an 8-week-old baby suffering
from a seizure.
Yeah. And you can't do anything about it.
And obviously you were I wouldn't say ignorant to the situation, but you would say you would, you weren't aware of what to do at the situation because you haven't lived that before. Yeah.
No, the first time he had an epileptic fit, I just stared at him because I was like, I didn't know what to do. But then,
if I touch him, what's going to happen? Yeah.
But then your maternal instincts kicks in. So
something's not right.
Yeah, that survived whatever I've
Same
been
with my
through.
niece. She started to get her first fits when she was about 3 months.
Okay.
She was like I was talking about earlier, but her eyes would roll back, and she would tighten her fists.
Yeah.
And then obviously since then she's been immobile.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it does do that to you.
It does that. It's you try not to let it affect you, but it's hard. It is hard in a sense that
because you can't do anything about it at that time. It's something that's going to take time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they say some children grow out of it, but you don't know. But you just have to, you have to try and work in the present. So whatever's going on at that time, you can think of now, not okay, maybe let's wait till 5 years time, let's see what happens. But that's too far ahead because you're dealing with the
you need to deal with it now.
Yeah. So there was a lot of that. And even though as a child I was an accident prone, I never broke anything. I was never ill. Like, my school attendance was all of me, my sister, and my brother.
I think it's like that in the Nigerian house.
Yeah. Where, it was competitive. I only had one day off this year.
Yeah. And also being on time. And I think the Nigerian culture is very, very particular with their kids' education. Yep. They're like, you have to do well or that's it, mate. Trust me, I know.
Yeah. But yeah, so I never thought I would spend so much time in and out of hospital appointment. It wasn't just a hospital appointment. It was also the team around, so physiotherapy, speech and language, occupational therapy. Those are the ones that were, sort of under the NHS, and I was taken into different sort of private therapy as well. So like at one point, every single day had an appointment, some sort of therapy, because early intervention is very important when a child has specific needs. And sometimes, no fault of the parent or the caregiver, you can easily fall into that trap of, burying your head in the sand.
Yes.
Because you think, oh, it's not happening to me, or, It's not that obvious. When they're a baby, you don't necessarily see the gap, the growth gap. It's when they get bigger, then you start to see the growth back. They're not crawling, they're not, making vowel sounds, or they're not giving you, focus, or they're not able to hold their body. We spoke about it earlier that he wasn't able to hold his body up for a long time, and then, it was hard to see that he was ever going to be strong enough to hold his head up without it being floppy or anything like that. But today I can absolutely tell you that he's getting stronger. But that's taken time. The journey. It's taken.
How old is he now?
He's 5.5.
Okay.
He's 5.5 now, and thinking about all the things I've been through, it's prepared me for
Has
this.
it slowed you down? I don't know, made you.
No, I wouldn't slow me down. It's
say
prepared
no, not
me.
slowed you down, but I was saying in the sense like it's made you be more in the present.
Yeah.
Like
Definitely.
rather than rushing.
Absolutely.
That's what I meant. Slow down.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Yeah. So everything was rush, and like I've learned so much from this boy.
Oh.
So much. He is like, I feel like he's come as my teacher.
No.
He's definitely taught me humility. He's taught me patience. Like, you don't know love until you really have a child.
Of course.
And a child that you need that extra love because they, you feel like you're not necessarily going to get it back. When you hug a child hugs you back.
Yes.
I hug my son. He doesn't hug me back, but I feel him.
Yeah.
So like all the experience I've had in the past, I feel like they've set me up. Even becoming a vegan.
Are you vegan yourself now?
Yeah, I mean, I know it's fashionable, but I've been a vegan for over 10 years, and that was for health reasons.
Yeah.
And understanding what I can eat and what I can't eat.
Yeah.
That's, given me that sort of that interest in nutrition. And so now, because of my son's epilepsy, he's on a specific program which centers around a diet and that controls his epilepsy. Now, if I didn't really care for cooking or preparing food and understanding what food does what,
and that's something you knew already. Yeah, exactly. So you're quite.
It was something I could just easily slot in.
Yeah.
When he got onto the program, I was like, there's a lot of cooking involved. I looked at them like, cooking. Is that what most of the parents complain about?
Yeah.
I'm like, it's not a problem for me because, I do it anyway. I cooked his food as a child. I never had any.
Has the diet helped him a lot?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is he not on any medication now?
We're literally in the process of weaning. 2 weeks' time, he'll be off his medication, off the synthetic medication, which for me is a huge celebration.
Of course it is.
Absolutely,
So the food that you are doing. So what kind of foods are you giving him?
Well, it's called the ketogenic diet, and it's basically
no carbs, I think.
Yeah, literally minimal carbs.
Yeah,
and
you can have natural carbs though, no? Or is that effective?
No, like I used to give him pulses. You can't have pulses because there's as much protein in pulses as carbs, and carbs turn into sugar. Yeah. So it's about minimizing the sugar and increasing the fats. So he has I cook with coconut oil.
So I remember reading about it. It's a high fat diet, but a natural fats, obviously. Yeah, natural. So aren't you worried about the consequences of that? Is that going to give him a cholesterol or not, or no?
No, I mean this diet is specifically for children because of that reason. Because as an adult, or as adults, we can't consume too much fat because it has a knock-on effect. But he's only supposed to be on this diet for 2 years, and then he should hopefully develop enough ketones in his brain to resist any epileptic. That is the hope, and
So is he becoming more mobile now because of it? And
he's definitely much stronger. He's definitely much more determined. His strength has definitely come through, and I find that in his mind you can see I can do this. I'm able, and he then does it, and then I'm like, oh, I think you're gonna just hurt yourself. Let me just be there. So
he's probably got your energy about trying to be.
Oh yeah.
Being like a stunt woman.
He definitely has the energy. There's one time we flew to the Caribbean, and he was up for 24 hours, no lie, because I'm like on the plane going, okay, yeah. He's like, he gets excited on the plane. He's like, seat in front of him, and I was saying, sorry, I'm really sorry, and they said it's fine, and they thought it was, they thought like he was a big child, and then when they looked at him, he's just a baby. I'm like, I know. How come he could reach? He's got long legs.
Yeah. Like mummy. Long legs like mummy.
Yeah.
So Where is this part where it's like when you found your journey being a coach? Then is this where you help, because you, obviously it must have been a hard journey overcoming
Yeah.
having to, like you said before, like the first thing what you want to do is when you have a child, you have some expectations that everything's going to be
Yeah.
fine, but obviously the challenges, everybody has their own challenges, the challenges that you have come with
Yeah.
it. So it must have been hard. It must have put you down for some time.
Yeah.
Because now when I look at you, it's like everything's good, everything's fine, everything's positive. But I think it takes time to reach to this level. So is this your aim now, to help mothers like yourself?
Yeah, I
who have
mean,
been in similar situations with children with disabilities?
I would say more like women because, like I said, there was kind of two tiers of my journey. So, you know, as a woman, I experienced redundancy, and you're losing your sort of like identity, so to
Yes.
speak, and trying to find your path or your footing in terms of where you fit next. The mother side, again, is, you know, like being a mother, you do lose some of you because you become, you know, you focus more on your child.
Yes.
Which is nothing wrong with that, but you were somebody before your child, and so I have to like constantly remind myself that, you know, who I am or who I was before my son is important. And with all the appointments I was and therapies I was doing with my son, I was pushing him, and I had this sort of moment where I was like, how can I be pushing my son to be the best version of himself if I'm not doing it?
Exactly.
I needed to lead by example.
Because he's gonna magnetize that energy from you.
Absolutely.
And there's one thing I think lots of mothers don't understand is, and I think lots of midwives say this as you're pregnant as well, and obviously once you've had a baby, is, and even doctors say it, is whatever energy you emanate, or even when you're sad or when you're upset, it passes on to the child.
Absolutely.
Regardless. And I feel that now, even though, like, even when my daughter's about 7 now.
Yeah.
I feel the same thing. However I am, she emanates the same thing back, or she would correct me at points when I'm wrong. But it's just something that God has created, this sort of bond.
Yeah.
So, and you know, well done for recognizing that. So I need to be positive. I'm positive and energetic, and probably that's why it's being rubbed off on him now. So he's gonna take from that.
Yeah. So one of my biggest fears was public speaking. Like I avoided doing conferences and, you know, sort of being on a panel, because I did the odd one because I was at a push, because I was always thinking I need to give back. But when it came to sort of public speaking, I just had this fear. So I got the opportunity to set the record straight with that. So I was like, okay, I have to step up now. And so I enlisted a coach who specialised in that area, and basically that was last year, July, end of July, and yeah. So now I don't have the fear that I had, and I feel like I have the right to push my son now because I've pushed myself.
Yes.
And so through that whole process, I went thinking, okay, I need to overcome my fear of public speaking. But what actually transpired was it opened a whole new world for me.
Because you're coming out of your comfort zone.
Coming out of my comfort zone, realising that actually I do have something to share and help other people.
You do.
Because you think you're on your own and it's like, this is your fight. No one else is going to understand. But actually, when you start sharing, you start to connect with people. And that was the most important and most powerful thing, realisation for me. I was like, oh. And it's not necessarily just that someone who has a child with specific needs. That's not the case. As in, like, going through certain things in their life that you feel like you're on your own and not being able to get through, like come out the other side unscathed. So for me, I was like, okay, so this is how I got through it. And so
people get inspired.
Hopefully that's the plan. That's the plan, that people get inspired, and I'm hoping that, you know, they hear what I'm sharing, and see, like, actually, you know what, if she can get through her.
That's the whole purpose of my show, The Life Show Musart, is getting people like yourself.
Yeah. And
if they can do it, why can't you?
Absolutely.
And I think it's just about, and I feel this as well, is in every field there's always one person that you can look up to. And they are gonna, and we're very lucky to have that. And lots of people don't notice that, think, oh, you know, I'm hopeless, I can't do this, I can't do this, I can't do that. But actually, there is someone who's been through the exact same thing as you, and they will guide you in such a way that will take you to exactly where you want to be, or where you need to be, to find that peace and inner peace and happiness.
But you also have to be open. You have to be open to that. You know, opportunities. We were talking about the book B
Yes.
Squared, and anyone who hasn't read it, it's an author's Pam Grout. I highly recommend it because
It opens
there's
doors.
different experiments. Basically, the fundamental message is everything that you're looking for is right in front of you. You just need to be present. You just need to be aware, and you also just have to believe.
Yeah.
And once you have those three components, then
anything is possible. So
absolutely.
anything is possible, literally.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you.
Before we go, I'd like you to give some advice to the audience. And what is your one top advice that you would say that they can start applying right now, right here? Right here, right now. It's like a song.
Right here, right now, right here. We just need a beat underneath it. Right here, right now.
And that they can just start impacting their own life. So if you want to talk to them and give your one top advice.
One top advice. I would simply say, I think the first thing you should ever do is forgive yourself. Because I think often enough what we do, we always put ourselves down. And by putting ourselves down, we're lowering our frequency to the point where we are accepting any negative any sort of negative situation that comes our way. Once you forgive yourself and you allow yourself or give yourself permission to be that amazing person, then you find that you bring a whole new tribe, if you like, towards you, and all the support that you need, because we don't use the word help. Help means you're helpless. We all need support. And so by putting yourself in the right position, you get that support that you need, because it's, like I said, it's there. You just have to be aware. You just have to be open, and also always remember to be thankful.
Well done. Well, as much as we've enjoyed talking to Kehinde, and trust me, we've been talking to her since she's walked in, I don't think we have enough time.
My throat is a bit dry.
Yeah. But as she said, forgive yourself, learn to be more happy, appreciate what you have, and trust me, anything is possible. And thank you for watching. Until next time on the live show with Musart.